no good, there's no one there.
Well, what's happened?
You're from the press? It was me that found her. My name's Standish, I'm their neighbour. Terrible thing, young girl like that.
Well, she's not...
Well, could have been. Very easy could have been, they said, if it hadn't been for me phoning. You know, I blame him myself. Young girl like that. Absolute layabout he was.
Please tell me what's happened, will you?
Well, I went over there last night, see, because she was on her own. You know, just being friendly like. Anyhow, this morning, there's no music, see? Well, she usually has the radio on full blast. Curtains drawn, not a sign of life. So, I'll go over, knock on the door. No reply. And I hear this kind of a groaning noise, you see? So, I'll give the door a kick. And here she is, lying in the middle of the floor, fully dressed, and all this brown stuff coming out the corner of her mouth. So I thought, perhaps he's come back and murdered her, like. So I rushed over the farm to use the phone, see? Standish is my name, George Standish. You know, to call the police or an ambulance or something. You're not the press. Hey, I've seen your car.
What? No, I'm a social worker. I've been...
Oh, from the town hall, eh? I see. No, I reckon something ought to be done about him. It's not as if he couldn't get work if he really wanted to. Great big hulking brute like that. Knocking her about all the time, he was.
Did he knock her about?
Well, if he didn't, why she always shouting and hollering?
Did you ever actually see him hit her?
I heard things. That's all I'm going to say.
I see. Right, well, thank you.
St. Faith's they've taken her to. Say I was inquiring, I was worried. If she wants a visitor, I'll be only too glad to come.
She'll be all right. They pumped her out, she'll recover.
Can I wait for a while?
If you wish to, yes. She won't have much to say for herself for a few hours yet, though. Yes?
I'm just putting you through now. Yes, dear.
There's something wrong with my baby.
You want an accident and outpatient. Straight across the yard, end door on the right. You can't miss it. St. Faith's Hospital, good morning.
Mrs. Patterson? Do come along, please.
Good morning, can I help you? There's something the matter with my baby and I want
Have you
someone
been here before? Then could I have your name and address, please?
Gosse, Mrs. Sheila Gosse.
With an E, is that? Gosse with an E? And the baby's name?
Mandy.
Amanda.
What? No, Mandy. Look, can't someone see to me?
Just a few basic details. It won't take a moment. Now, could I have your address?
Potter's Lane.
Number? What number, Potter's Lane?
No number, just Potter's Lane. Oh, put Potter's Lane Farm, Struth. It's taken me 3/4 of an hour
I'm going to
walk
put your
here.
card through straight away, Mrs. Gosse. Now, somebody will be along in a moment. You just go and sit over there, please. Mrs. Hall? Oh, isn't she lovely? Oh, is she? Nice little thing, isn't it? Beautiful.
No smoking, please.
Mr. Biller. Oh, no. Dr. Don is ready for his tab.
Look, can't someone see to me? I've been here nearly 10 minutes. I've got a very sick baby and I want someone to have a look at it.
Mrs. Gosse? Mrs. Gosse? Ah, Mrs. Gosse, is it? Potter's Lane Farm. Would you come in, please?
About bloody time, and it's Gosse.
The sister will see to you. Mrs. Gosse's sister.
It takes you long enough. Do you know I've been out there with my little girl nearly 10 minutes?
Now have her then, please. Ah, let's have a look, shall we? What happened to her?
I don't know.
Nurse?
She was like that when I come to get her up this morning.
Any vomiting? Has she been sick?
No. Hardly took anything to eat all last night. Never made a sound all night. I thought she was just sleeping.
Dr. Don,
Then when I
would you
took
have
a
a
look
look
at
at
her
this
this
baby, please?
morning,
Yeah. Excuse me, Doctor.
I thought I'd better bring her straight here.
About 12 hours. No vomiting. Mrs. Patterson's still waiting for Dr. Cunningham.
Perhaps she could have swallowed something, a pin or button, do you think?
She's not had an accident, has she? A fall, a bump on the head of any kind?
No, nothing.
Doctor thinks our consultant paediatrician should see your little girl. Perhaps if you'd like to sit out in the
But
waiting
that's my
room.
baby. I want to know
Nurse,
what you're
go
going
and
to
fetch
do.
Dr. Cunningham. Say Dr. Dundee would like him to come at once, if he can, please. You will get some tea in the waiting room, Mrs. Gosse. Excuse me.
Accident in outpatient for Dr. Cunningham. Thank you.
Mrs. Patterson?
Oh, Dr. Cunningham, the child's in this cubicle. Dr. Dundee said she wasn't to be moved.
Quite right, sister. Morning, Mrs. Patterson. I think we should get that organised, sister. Here.
Nurse, ring through to X-ray. Say Dr. Cunningham wants them to bring down their portable machine, please. I'm afraid you're in for quite a wait, Mrs. Gosse. I'm sure you could do with a cup of tea.
Would you hurry them up, sister?
Straight away, nurse.
I just remembered. She did have a sort of, well, a little tumble the day before yesterday. But that couldn't have been that, though, could it?
Well, yes, indeed it could, Mrs. Gosse. She's a very small baby. What to an adult might be just a slight knock could be very much more serious to a baby as young as yours. I'm afraid she's very poorly. She's going to need intensive care for the next few days.
What's the matter with her?
Well, I can't say exactly till we know the results of the X-ray, but she has the symptoms of a depressed fracture of the skull. Now, she did have a fall, you say.
Not really a fall, more a sort of tumble. She was all right a few minutes after, and I didn't think no more of it.
How did it happen?
Well, she was sort of sitting on the floor like, and then she kind of fell over. They do fall over backwards at that age sometimes, don't they? She cried, I picked her up, and that was that.
Did she hit her head on a toy on the floor, a crossbar of a chair, something like that?
No. She just kind of flopped back, you know, like that.
Yes. Ah, where exactly? Right, thank you. Is your floor carpeted, Mrs. Gosse?
No, lino. We live in a caravan.
Very cramped. Still, with your husband out all day. He is out at work.
No, he's looking for a job at the moment. He was out, though, when this happened.
I wonder, could you show me again exactly how it happened?
Well, sort of like that.
She's had no other bang or fall of any kind recently?
No, not that I know of. Is all the doctors coloured now?
Pardon?
The doctors? Are all the ones here coloured? I mean, apart from you.
I don't really know. I haven't looked recently. Mrs. Gosse, the X-ray confirms a fracture, as I thought. I wonder, could you come back this afternoon with your husband?
Come. Well, yeah. We'll be wanting to come and visit her, won't we? Yeah.
2:15?
Yeah, all right. I don't know what he's going to say. I mean, is it serious?
She's in good hands, don't you worry. We'll take every care of her.
It's rotten, isn't it?
Radiology. Ah, Alec, look, I want a complete skeletal survey on the Gosse baby, admitted about half an hour ago. Can you manage it for 2 o'clock?
Eddie! Eddie! Please! No! Eddie! Eddie!
Yeah. Show them in, would you, Miss Hamilton, and bring your notebook. I want a record of every word that's said. Yes. Well, if they'd left it any later, I'd have had to hand the whole thing over to Dr. Bazaki. They'd have loved that. Well, I was beginning to wonder if you were going to get
Sorry,
here.
blame me for that, Doctor, not her. Well, I was having a bit of a kip singing. Well, she did try and wake me up and that, but then I cut myself.
My name is Cunningham. I'm the consultant.
Oh, how are you, Doctor? Very pleased to meet you. My name's Gosse, Eddie Gosse.
Mr. Foster is my radiologist.
Oh, hello, Mr. Foster. How are you? All right?
Miss Hamilton is my secretary.
Oh, hello, Miss Hamilton. Hey. Oh, you should have got
And, perhaps if you'd sit down, Mr. and Mrs. Gosse. I've asked these people to be present because being
Oh, yeah,
very
well, it's a
complicated...
sort of conference, is it? Well, I'd like to kick off by saying something straight out.
Oh, yes?
Yeah. Every confidence. Well, that's what I wanted to say, really. You're perfectly satisfied, me and my wife.
I think I should make it
because
quite
you'll never
clear,
hear a
Mr.
word
Bough.
out of me against doctors and
Eddie.
nurses. Yeah. Oh, sorry, manners. Yeah, what's she doing?
Miss Hamilton is here at my request to make a note of this conversation, Mr. Gosse.
Oh, God, me rabbiting on like that, eh? Well, I'm sorry about that, miss. I won't say nothing else. Yeah, Doctor.
Yes, well, as your wife will have told you, I am the consultant paediatrician here. That is, I deal with babies and small children. Mr. Foster is head of our radiology department.
Oh, well, I do know what that is. Yeah, it's X-rays and that, isn't it?
Yes. Now, your baby's head was X-rayed this morning, Mr. Gosse. Alec? Now, this clearly shows that she has a depressed fracture, as I told you, Mrs. Gosse. Depressed fracture here.
Well, that's serious, isn't it?
Yes. Now, this could not be caused in any other way than by a blow at that exact point. Now, you described to me, Mrs. Gosse, how she fell over backwards and hit her head.
That's amazing, isn't it? I mean, well, you wouldn't think it could happen, would you?
No, you would not. You see, that place is here. Now, the fall you described to me, Mrs. Gosse, and I asked you to describe it to me twice, in my opinion, could not have caused a fracture in that place. Now, I was wondering if there were any other suggestions either of you might make as to how it might have happened. I'd like you to think carefully.
Well, I am thinking, but I don't know what to say, though. I mean, well, I mean, she couldn't have fallen down the steps, could she? No, you would have remembered that, wouldn't you? Well, you never left her on her own at all, did you? Well, no, it's a mystery,
Look,
isn't it?
Mr. Gosse, I should make it clear. Anything you say here is entirely confidential. Miss
Oh,
Hamilton's
yeah,
knows
well, I
everything
mean,
by
with
own
doctors and
record.
nurses and that, you take it all for granted, don't you? Yeah, but I don't know what to say, though. Do you, love?
Do you hit her sometimes when she's naughty, Mr. Gosse?
No, I don't hold with hitting kids. Neither of us do.
I'm sorry if this causes you offence, but I must put this next question directly to your wife. Have you ever seen your husband hit your child?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, never mind, I don't think so, have you, or haven't you?
No, I haven't.
No.
You hit yourself over a fit of temper? Or...
Her hit her own kid? Now, do me a favour, look at her. She wouldn't hurt a fly, would you?
Mr. Foster, Now, I'd like you to look very carefully at these, please. As well as x-raying your baby's head, Mr. Foster, at my request, also did a complete skeletal survey. That is, the x-rayed her entire body and limbs. Now, this picture is of your child's left arm. It clearly shows a healed fracture there, just above the elbow, of a break which occurred about 4 or 5 weeks ago. The other picture is of her ribs. There is another healed fracture.
Hold on, no. I mean, well, who's to say from that who it is, eh? I mean, that could be anybody's kid. Who's to say?
I am, Mr. Gosse. Those are x-ray pictures of your baby.
Jesus Christ. Sheila, they're trying to say that that's our Mandy.
Look, Mr. Gosse, now you're to a powerfully built man, Mr. Gosse. What might just seem like a slight tap.
No, I've never ever hit. Have I ever hit her, eh?
It's very obvious that the child has been hit and...
Mr. and Mrs. Gosse, it is my duty to tell you that I am not satisfied by what you have said. I believe that this child's injuries are not capable of being caused by any known form of accident or disease, and that there are therefore reasons for suspecting that they must have been inflicted on her by some person or persons in her home environment. And it is also my duty to inform the appropriate authorities that this is my
Authorities? What authorities, eh? Do you mean the police? Yeah, come on, Sheila, I'm not stopping and listening to no more
Now,
of
just
this.
a moment. Now, it could be the police, Mr. Gosse, but it doesn't have to be. Whether or not it is depends upon you, but if you leave now, I'll have no alternative.
What's that supposed to mean, then?
Well, I can't guarantee that they won't at some later stage be brought into it, but I'm prepared to leave that decision up to someone else if you'll cooperate with them.
Someone else like who?
I'd ask someone from the local children's department or the NSPCC to call at your home and make a report.
I'm not having no one from the children's department coming round.
Oh, and I'm not having the cruelty people, neither.
And that leaves me with no alternative.
Oh, it'll have to be the children's department then, won't it?
If they come, I go. I mean it, Eddie.
Well, you wouldn't sooner have the cruelty man coming round with his uniform in front of everyone.
Uniforms nowadays, Mr. Gosse.
What you got against the children's department, eh? Oh, God, I don't... Well, I mean, that wouldn't mean that... We can still come and see her, can't we?
Yes, yes, of course you can. But you will be at home later this afternoon.
This afternoon? Well, yeah, we'd have to be, won't we? But honestly, Doctor, I mean, Come on, Sheila.
If I may say so, sir, in my opinion, you should inform the police. It's obvious by his behaviour he's already
Nobody
got a
asked
record.
your opinion. I'm sorry, sister. You may very well be right. However, Miss Hamilton, get me the NSPCC, will you please?
Mr. and Mrs. Gosse?
Down in the field in the caravan.
Oh, thank you. Mrs. Gosse? Good afternoon. My name's Margaret Ashdown. I'm from the NSPCC.
Eddie! Eddie! Ah, it's the cruelty people.
Cool. You from the... Stroke.
Good afternoon.
Well, say hello to the lady, Timmy. She, well, say hello, then. Now. Say hello, then.
Hello. Who are you then?
Oh, this is our,
#1.
number one, isn't it? Yeah.
Hey,
you-
there's another one over
Oh, what? Listen, your mum and me's got to have a talk with this here lady. So you stop out here and play, will you? Hey? Good boy. Don't go out of sight now, will you? Right, we'll have you out to start with. Go on, hop it. come on in, since you want to talk to both of us, won't you? My name's Gosse, Eddie Gosse. It's my wife, Sheila.
I'm Margaret Ashdown. Can I sit here?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, it's a bit untidy, but I am... Well, do you want a cup of tea?
Thank you very much. I'd love one.
Yeah, rot it up a bit, love.
Do you mind if I smoke?
No.
Do you,
Roll me on, thanks.
Mrs. Gosse?
No, thanks.
Well, yeah, so, it's you that's got to decide then, is it? I mean, well, like what's going to happen?
No, not just on my own. I'll have to talk it over with my supervisor, Miss Campbell, and of course we've
You're
got...
from the children's department.
No, I'm from the NSPCC.
We didn't know that, do we? She could be from the children's department.
Why would you say she was if she
No,
was?
it's all right. I have a card here that... Thank you. Now, I'm going to have to start by asking you one or two questions.
Yeah, well, that's what you come for, isn't it?
Right. Now, it's Mr. E. and Mrs. S. Gosse, is that right? And just the two children, Timmy and Mandy. How old is Timmy?
4 last birthday, wasn't he?
And you rent this caravan from Mr. Sykes at the farm. How long have you been here?
3 weeks tomorrow.
And where were you living before?
Birmingham. Well, I had a job up there, see, but I got laid off. Well, then we heard that there was work going around here, so where we are then, aren't we?
Where are you working now? What sort of work do you do?
He starts Monday.
What's the point? No, I'm not working. I ain't got a job.
You're signed on at the Labour Exchange?
Well, no, because well, I had a bit of back pay, see, from when I was turned off up there, and so you see,
What sort of work do you do, Mr. Gosse?
Well, anything. Farm work, labouring, building sites, bit of buying and selling, anything that comes.
But you haven't found anything at all around here?
No, not yet.
How long have you been married?
6 months. Well, he's not mine, see, he's hers by another bloke which you knew before me.
Does he pay maintenance for him, Mrs. Gosse? I would like to see Timmy again before I go. Is he outside? Could you...
Yeah. Get in, will you, love?
Timmy! Come in a minute. This lady wants to talk to you. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, not you. Go on, up it. Come on.
Oh, how many times have I told you to watch where you're walking?
God, where you been?
field?
Stand still. Come here. Well, you got mud all over your boots. Come here. Oh, I'm ever so sorry about that, miss. Yeah, only one place for them, isn't there? Oh, Christ.
Oh, you
Sherbert, drop them
stupid.
boots!
Oh, I'll get
God.
them.
Where's your slippers?
Sherbert, come back.
On your bed.
Sherbert,
Now, look, this lady, she wants to ask you a few questions there. She's not going to bite you, so you speak up nice and loud and clear and tell her what she wants to know, all right? Now, let's get them slippers on for you. Yeah. Put your foot in. That's it. Freddie's a bit shy with strangers. If you don't mind me stopping with him until he gets a bit used to you, know?
It's all right. I don't need to bother him today. I just wanted to see him, that's all.
Handsome little bloke, isn't he? You got your mum's eyes, haven't you? Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to take his shirt off?
No, that won't be necessary. Thank you for coming in to see me, Timmy. You can go off and play again if you want to.
Sweet, eh? Go on. Up you come then, you monkey. Go on. Help yourself. That's it. That's it. Well, here, you said, hey, sweetie, you got 2, haven't you? All right, well, go on. Take the other one to your mum. Off you go. That's it. And watch where you're walking, eh?
Oh, Timmy, not in your slippers. Oh, yeah, put your boots on.
She always keeps him very clean, you know. It's not only today.
Mr. Gosse, you do understand that I can't hope to get a proper picture in one visit like this. I'll have to come again, quite a lot.
Yeah, well, it's all right. I mean, there's always one of us about.
Fine.
Yeah. Here, you didn't get your tea, did you? Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's It's not easy for her, you know, with 2 kids. Well, and me, because, well, you see, I don't always get up in the morning. So, if you don't mind me not being, well, properly dressed and that.
No, that doesn't matter.
Sugar?
No, thank you.
Oh, that's all right then. And they usually get a bit, you know.
Who's they?
Well, whoever it is. Welfare, council, assistants, WVS, we've had them all. We even had a vicar up in Preston. No, Derby, I reckon it was.
You've moved around quite a lot then.
Yeah, hundreds of places. Well, I suppose it must be by now. I thought I might change with Sheila, but...
Your rent's paid here, is it?
Yeah, 1 week in advance. Old man Sykes has mentioned it a couple of times, but...
The Social Security, the Assistance Board, they'd help you with the rent.
Yeah, I mean, signing on though, doesn't it? I mean, all them questions. What was your last employer? Where'd you work? Where's your cards? Do this. I can't stand answering questions.
Well, you've answered all mine.
Well, yeah, I suppose I haven't, huh?
Can I ask you one more? What exactly do you live on?
Like I said, selling scrap, old bedsteads, stuff people leave lying about. Do you know, they'll even give you a couple of bob to take it away sometimes.
And at the moment?
She'd have had enough before long, you know. I mean, she could have got herself a decent bloke if she wanted.
Well, she hasn't, has she?
You know, she even waited for me.
How do you mean waited?
Well, when I was in Nick, 2 lots of 6 months I'd done. Well, only once since I've been with her, though. The other was about 7 or 8 years back now.
Would you mind telling me what for?
First time was, what was it now? Yeah, copper tubing. Well, I knew it was Nick, see, because, well, this fell offered it to me cheap, you know, and, well, I suppose he was desperate to get rid of it. And well, the law comes round, and there it is, lying in the hallway. I mean, he couldn't miss it, you see. But, yeah, she don't know about that one, though, because, well, it was before I met her, see. So, well, I'd appreciate it if you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What about the second time?
Oh, well, yeah, that she does know about that. That was breaking and entering. Or trying to. Yeah. Well, I kicked in this shop doorway, see? It was a, what do you call it, a lingerie shop. Well, I see this nightie in the window, and it was her birthday coming up, and, oh, hell, 10 o'clock at night, dark, stupid, middle of the high street. Well, the copper was down on me before I got a bleeding door open.
Just those 2 convictions?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for telling me. All right then, Mr. Gosse. Well, I'll come again tomorrow.
One thing about you, you don't start laying down the law like most of them.
Well, I still might, though.
Yeah, there is one, well, I mean, you don't, not seriously, you don't think that I'd kill my own kid, do you?
I don't know, Mr. Gosse. I honestly can't say.
Yeah, well, that's straight enough, isn't it?
Bye-bye, Timmy. Bye, Mrs. Gosse. There's another child there. I've left it, and I don't know if I ought to have done.
A risk? What you have to ask yourself is whether and why you're prepared to take it.
Oh, the second part's easier to work out. Why?
Well, go on.
Well, if I'm going to establish a relationship, I've got to get a footing. To remove the other child immediately would put their backs up. Oh, hers is up already, but, well, his at least doesn't appear to be.
How do you mean appear?
Well, is he pretending to me? Putting on an act? I don't think he could carry it off. He's a very nervous, insecure sort of man. Not clever. I mean, even as a criminal, it's petty, stupid things he's done, that's all.
He says.
No, but honestly, Audrey, I'm inclined to believe him. See, there's no spontaneous aggression, even towards the dog.
Animals can be less demanding.
But he loves that little boy. What's more important, the boy loves him. Goes to him quite naturally for protection. He wouldn't do that if he was frightened of him. And a man who looks like that and isn't even his own father.
The one-child theory.
Well, yeah.
I have a case myself. 5 children in the family, 4 of them treated quite normally and affectionately. Only one who's a bit backward gets knocked about, because she's a disappointment.
Well, there you are.
But you know yourself, sometimes if we remove the battered one, they turn on one of the others.
But Timmy's over 4. That's a bit old for this kind of battering, isn't it?
Statistically.
And then if we took the child away, they might just pack up and disappear, especially as the rent's overdue.
Margaret, he has got a criminal record, which may be a good deal worse than he says it is.
Yes, I know it. No, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to leave the child there. Oh, they know I'm coming back in the morning. I just hope I'm not making a terrible mistake.
Oh, bloody hell. What time is it then?
10:15. I'm sorry to be so early, but I happened to pass this way first.
Yeah. Well, can you give us a couple of minutes?
Hmm?
Sheila, get out. This what's it here? Here, you can get out of here for a start. Go on, off you go. Miss?
Oh, I'm sorry to wake you up, but this was the most convenient way I could fit it in.
Get this cup too, now.
Where are those bloody fags gone, Eddie?
I don't know. Where'd you leave them? Here they are on the floor. Here.
I ought to be going to see Mandy. You've no news, have you, how she is?
Yes, I rang the hospital. They said she was just about the same. How's Timmy this morning?
Oh, he's still fast asleep by the sound of it.
That was your fault, letting him stop up so late, wasn't it?
Well, kids, they never want to go to bed, do they? You can't blame them.
Can I just have a peep at him? Mr. Gosse?
Where is he, Sheila? Oh, I think he slipped out to play. He sometimes slips out, you know, before we get up there.
I'd like to see him, please, Mr. Gosse.
Yeah, all right. Timmy! Timmy! God, the number of times I've told him not to go out.
Tell him,
there,
what's the good of that?
no.
And never learn that way. Anything could have happened. He could have gone off and got lost, fallen in the stream, anything.
I was always the same when I was a kid. As soon as the sun was shining, I was off out.
Would like to see him, please, Mr. Gosse.
Yeah, all right. Well, let me get my boots on, will you? You wouldn't be happening to, well, pass this way a bit later on, like?
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Oh, have a cup of tea first.
Look, let's go and look for him now, shall we?
Yeah, all right. What do you think you're doing? Didn't you hear me calling you? Mum's got your breakfast ready. You hungry? Yeah. I'm starving. You're starving, are you? Well, here you go then. That's it. I'll have to put a bolt or something on that door. Well, she's right, isn't she? I mean, anything could have happened to him.
I'm sorry I had to be so insistent.
Can I, well, have you got a minute?
Yes, of course.
It's me. Dead loss, you know. Dead loss. Other people can work, get a job, but me, I don't know. All I want to do is sleep all day. I'm tired. Doing nothing and I'm tired. But people look at me, they say, "God, a great big bloke like you." And I mean, well, they're right, isn't they? But I suppose they're scared of me, scared of the size of me.
Out of your physical strength?
I like it when you put it like that, yeah. I used to have a job boxing at Bough, fairground. All comers, young lads, some of them. Used to think there was Jack the bleeding giant killer. A rubber ball could have knocked me over. No balance, no guts. I used to cheer their heads off when I went down. That was the only reason the boss kept me on. Yeah. I can't fight, can't work, I can't even... Yeah, well, ever since Mandy came along, we're both too tired. She won't stop long.
Well, has she said so?
No, not till yesterday morning. It was the first time. When they told her up at the hospital that they're going to get the children's department people in.
Why did she feel so strongly about them? Was she in a home herself?
No.
Did you ask her afterwards what she'd got against them?
Yeah, but she just says she don't want to talk about it. You can't tell what she's thinking sometimes.
She's, good with the children, is she?
Yeah. Well, she's devoted to Timmy. Right. Can't have been easy. Not married, fella left her, didn't want to know.
When you first met, did you mind about Timmy?
What do you mean?
Well, did you ever think of having him?
Oh, no, there was no question of that. I mean, he meant everything to her. Well, never entered me head, did it? You wouldn't get rid of a kid like that, would you?
You've been married before?
Yeah. 12 years ago. A couple of kids. One's about 12, the other 8, I suppose. She got married again.
Why were you divorced? Would you mind telling me?
Well, he had a decent job, didn't he? You couldn't blame her. She went to live with him. That was that. I never thought I'd ever meet anybody like Sheila. If I'd met her when I was a bit younger, I mean, she might have got me working.
She can't now.
I'm too old to change, ain't I? I don't know. A beautiful young girl, 2 kids, and I think to myself every day, it can't last.
So you go on doing the very thing that makes sure it can't.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? When you put it like that, it's true, but... Oh, well. I see you've got a lot of calls to make, haven't you? Thanks, anyway.
Thank you. Well, I'll come again tomorrow. But not so early.
Get out of here! Get out! Bloody animal! You're stupid things out of a place like this. It was your idea to have him, but you're not the one that's got to live with him under your feet all day. Oh no, you're out wandering about God knows where.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, now, come on. Shh. Let's have a look. Yeah, come on, it's not as bad as all that, is it? Look, there, stop bleeding already, isn't it? Come on, wipe them tears away. Sit, all right? Yeah, do you want a sweetie? Forget all about it. All right, go on. Up you go, there. There. That's a good lad. What happened then?
That bloody animal knocked him flying. He fell right against that thing there. He could have taken his eye out.
Oh, well, it didn't, did it? Well, he's all right. I'm ever so sorry about that, miss.
Oh, that's all right. Don't apologise. I'm glad it wasn't serious.
It bloody is serious.
Yes. I'll come tomorrow.
Why didn't you come back with him? He knew I was doing his breakfast. And eat yours. I can't tidy up and do everything and look after him and
Yeah,
look
all
after
right,
you.
all right. Well, he's just having a bit of a chat, that's all.
I could see that. What about?
Well, nothing in particular. Just this and that. I like her.
So I've noticed. What the hell does she have to come snoop round first thing in the morning for?
You know perfectly well why, don't be daft.
Well, how should I? You're the one she does all the talking with.
Well, you talk to her next time, then. Anyway, she's different from the others.
She's no different at all. She's like the rest, only better looking.
Oh, don't be daft.
Oh, don't keep saying don't be daft. Can't you think of nothing else? Perhaps you think I'm silly because she's so posh and clever-spoken. Fancy a clever bird, do you?
You feel all right now, mate, yeah? Do you want to go out and play, then? Go on, off you go. Yeah, take your milk with you. Go on, get out first. I'll give you your milk in a minute, all right? Yeah. And don't you go out that field.
Telling him that's all you ever do. He doesn't take a bloody bit of notice.
Well, Christ, he's only 4, isn't he?
No one kept their hands on me because I was only 4.
Oh, all right, then. Well, where's my tea?
Throwing it away. I didn't think you'd be wanting it. Soon he'll be sitting out in the field with a little piece. I could see you, you know.
Well, you could see us, then you wouldn't have nothing to worry about, would you?
Oh, please help me up, you big, strong man. I'm too little to get up on my own.
Now, look here. She's not my type now, is she?
I don't know, she seems keen enough to come round and see you.
Well, I've told you. Next time you talk to her, huh?
No, thanks.
Come on, Sheila.
But just let her try anything on with you and
All right, all right. Here, I'll tell you what. Go back to bed for a bit if you like.
No, thanks.
It's all right. Go on. Sit down and drink your tea, right? What was he doing?
Standing there talking to me.
Oh, the dog on me.
Jumping up trying to get a bit of bread off the side.
Yeah, well, you was right, weren't you? It wasn't a very good idea having him, but then, I mean, well, I didn't know he was going to get as big as that, did I? God. I think we better go off down the hospital soon, haven't we? I don't reckon we ought to take Timmy with us, you know. It might scare him in a place like that. Here, that bloke in the next van. You reckon you look after him for an hour or two?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what he's like. I've only seen him a couple of times.
You go ask him, love, will you?
Why me?
Nobody can say no to you, can they? I'll have to see about that dog, Sheila.
Something about the child being hurt by the dog. It seemed genuine, yet there was something about the woman's anger, almost as if she was putting it on. And then right at the end, when she shouted, it was almost a cry for help. I made a mistake talking to the man for so long. He wanted to talk, and he needs help, but it obviously put her back up. I must be more careful in future.
What were you doing? Trying to prove to yourself you weren't frightened of him?
I suppose so.
It's understandable.
But hardly relevant.
I thought you'd given up.
I've given up and giving up.
There's nothing else worrying you, is there?
No, I've just got rather a heavy caseload at the moment, that's all.
Anything I can do?
No, I'll be all right. Oh, it's ironic. Nothing happens during the night when I'm worried to death about that kid. And then he's injured when I'm actually there. I may even have caused it.
Could have been an accident. It's a very explosive situation, isn't it? Our main responsibility is the safety of the child, but we mustn't show it to them. You see,
You've got to try to handle this in a way that won't make either of them feel they're under attack, because that could even trigger off another battering.
I think I'd better go back there, even if it's only to reassure her. Still haven't done any shopping. You see, if she did hit that child this morning, it's 10 to 1 she's been hurting the baby as well. Oh, I know we can't be sure, but it seems likely. And I don't know how he's going to react. I mean, it was only yesterday he found out that anybody had been doing it at all. Up to then he was able to shut his eyes to it. But now he's got to face it. And I don't know what he's going to do when he does.
Oh, where were you? Want to buy a dog?
Come on.
Can I help you?
Hello, Mrs. Gosse. I see Timmy's all right now, isn't he? How was Mandy today?
Pardon?
I said, how was Mandy today? Did they say anything about her progress?
I don't know, we haven't been. Not yet. Eddie was supposed to be coming back to take me. He's been out since this morning. I thought he might have been coming to see you. You haven't got any fags on you, have you? Eddie was going to bring me some back.
Mrs. Gosse, why there's an opportunity, do you think we could have a talk about your rent? Now, I think we can persuade Mr. Sykes not to press you for a week or two, but we are going to have to do something about it. I did mention to your husband about signing on.
You're wasting your time.
Well, couldn't you persuade him?
No.
I would like to be able to help. Really.
We don't want help.
Even the first thing, the question of having Mandy back again.
Question? What question? She's our kid. No one can stop her.
They can. And they might.
Our own kid. Stop her coming back to her.
Mrs. Gosse, surely you see, as things are now, she couldn't be allowed back here.
Well, of all the bloody... Just because she had an accident...
It wasn't one. It was 3. Until we understand exactly how these accidents occurred, there's just no question of her coming back. Now, I'm empowered to apply to a magistrate for her to be kept in a place of safety, temporarily.
I knew it. I bloody well knew it. You're from the children's department.
No, I'm not from the children's.
Then why do you talk exactly like them, then?
You had dealings with them before? It would save a lot of time if you tell me. Think it over, will you?
You bloody idle bastard. Where the hell do you think you've been?
Sorry, love, I got held up. This afternoon, miss.
Hello, Mr. Gosse. Hello, Timmy.
Oh, hello, Tim. Here, mate. I've got some bad news for you. Come on over here, sit down. Do you know what I've done? Well, I took Sherbet out with me this afternoon and I've lost him. His lead snapped and I've lost him. Can I what?
Can you find him?
I thought I did look for him, but I couldn't find him nowhere. Look, I'll tell you what we'll do, mate. We'll go down to market, all right, next week, and we'll buy you one of them little puppies like what you saw before, eh? All right? Do you want a sweet? Eh? Come on, then. Here you are. There's it. Let's get you a sweetie. There. Off you go. Take it outside and play. Kids is funny, ain't they? I've been plucking up courage all afternoon to tell him that.
Well, he seems to have taken it well enough.
Sheila looked after you all right, did she? I mean, got you a cup of tea on that?
Oh, yes, we've had a chat and so on. She'll tell you all about it.
Good. Come in again tomorrow, are you?
Yes, I expect I'll drop in sometime. Goodbye, Mrs. Gosse. Goodbye, Mr. Gosse.
Bye, miss.
I've been waiting all day. Where the hell do you think you've been?
Well, I didn't know I was going to lose the dog, now did I? Anyway, gave you a chance for a bit of a chat with her. What'd you talk about, eh?
We didn't talk about anything. Just the weather and that. Did you remember to bring me them fags?
Yeah, they're in my jacket.
How'd you lose him then?
Well, like I said, his lead snapped and he was off.
With you chasing along beside him and fastening this while he was running, I suppose.
Well, no, but I mean... Well, I had to, Sheila, didn't I? Turn that bloody thing off. Look, I did try and sell him, but... Oh, well, I had to, didn't I?
Oh, why'd you have to?
You know perfectly well why I had to. All them people, the ones up at the hospital, even Miss What's-His-Name, they all think that I did it, Sheila. They all think that. And all the time it was that bloody great dog. I mean, look what he did to our Timmy this morning, eh? And Christ, he nearly killed our Mandy. When she comes back, I wouldn't have a minute's
She's not
peace.
coming back.
What?
She's not coming back.
You don't mean... Yeah, have you heard from up at the hospital?
No, it's your fancy little piece who says she can't come back, not even when she's better.
Well, there you are, then. I was right. But now that that dog's gone, the problem's solved, isn't it? I mean, I knew I was right. All I got to do is go down there and tell them it was the dog. I'll explain.
It wasn't the dog!
It was!
It wasn't the dog. No, no, please. No, no, please. No, no, don't take me. No, please, don't take him. No, no, don't take him, please. No, Eddie, no. No. Eddie?
Mrs. Gosse, it's all right. You're in hospital. Is there anything you want? Would you like me to come and see you tomorrow?
Please. Yes.
Hello, Mrs. Gosse.
My baby.
I've just been in to see her. They say she's making good progress.
No, Timmy.
We've no news, I'm afraid. How are you feeling?
He's taking him away. They won't come back.
There's been no sign of the husband yet. Is he coming today?
I don't know. I doubt it.
It's her day that Sister Wayne's got up on her ward, isn't it? Some people get away with a lot. There's one thing I'm afraid I can't...
Do they all know what I've done?
No, only one of two.
They send women like me to prison, didn't they?
Not always.
Eddie nearly got done for it. I was gonna let him.
But you didn't. Why did you tell him?
I had to. I didn't know what he'd do next. And then there was Timmy. I'd never hit him before, never. I was scared. I thought I was gonna start. Why didn't they leave me? He hates me.
What happened? Would you tell me?
His face, nothing. He just looked. He didn't speak or anything. He just looked.
When you told him? He didn't say anything at all?
No. He just sat there looking and looking. And then he got up and he started to... I tried, but he didn't pay no attention. He just went on and on. It was like I weren't there. And then at the finish, and he went. He went. He went.
And so that was that. And then sometime during the night she took the... whatever it was and tried to kill herself.
He didn't hit her. That must have been far more painful and hurting than any amount of physical violence. She'd expect that. She's used to it. And disconcerting. I mean, she took it for granted. That's what you did to people. However, the immediate practical details. Where's she going to stay when she comes out of hospital?
Well, she can't be on her own.
Would she consider going into a hostel or something of that kind?
She wouldn't stay long if she did. She'd almost certainly have a quarrel with the people in charge of it and walk out. She doesn't take very kindly to authority of any kind. No, it's got to be somewhere where she can be on her own and yet not be on her own. Somewhere where there's somebody around, all that... I wonder... The woman at the farm, she seemed a motherly sort. I wonder how Sheila would feel about going back there.
And she really did say I could?
For a while, till we can find something else. Mrs. Sachs said they hardly ever use this room now. Oh, and by the way, I'm seeing about getting your social security
Does she know?
What, Mrs. Sachs? Only that your baby's had some kind of accident, that's all.
Are you going to tell her?
No.
But she want to know why Eddie's gone, why I tried to...
She knows that husbands leave their wives and that wives get depressed. And I don't think she'll ask you a lot of questions.
But she knows about you.
What, that I'm a social worker with families, that's all.
Are you going to take me to court?
Look, Sheila, do you think we could have a talk and get a few basic points cleared up? If you feel up to it. Would you like to sit down? You ask me if we're going to prosecute you. Well, the answer's no. It wouldn't do any good. Anyway, you punish yourself. I think you always have. Were you punished a lot when you were a child?
Only when I done wrong.
What was wrong?
Everything.
Who to? Your mother and your father? Or just to one of them? Or?
I never had a father. Not one that I remember anyhow. Only a lot of uncles. She used to tell me if it hadn't been for me, she could have got someone nice to marry her, had a good home, and who'd take me with a dirty, messy kid like you? Christ, I hated that bloody woman. Every time she belted me, I hated her, I hated men, I hated everybody. I ran away when I was 14. Men. And then that Scotch bastard, Ponce. He wanted me to... And when I had a kid, they said it needed care and protection. I wasn't suitable to look after it. They took it away. Fucking children's department. My own kid. I don't know where she is. They took her away. Have her adopted, they said. It's the only fair thing for her to give her a chance. No, that's not true. It was me. I said I wanted her adopted. Well, I knew Mac wouldn't have any more to do with me if... He didn't anyhow. How old were you then? 100. Oh, I don't know. 14, 15.
Nearly 17, I met this other fella. As soon as he found out I was pregnant, he didn't want to know. I thought, they're not having this one, by Christ, they're not. I'm going to have something that's mine. No one's going to take this one away from me. It was Timmy. He's always been mine. I wouldn't let anyone. And then how could I do that? Not to Timmy. That was the first time in his life I've ever lifted... What am I? That's what he said. I remember now. As he was leaving, that's what he said. What's the answer to that?
What would his answer be?
It's obvious, isn't it? He went.
Don't you think he might have known before?
No.
I think he did. He must have had some idea. Just didn't want to face it.
He knew? Then why did he...
Because he loved you.
It's only a word, though, isn't it? Love. He's gone.
You've one hell of a long job ahead of you. 2 years, probably 3. She's missed an awful lot of mothering. Oh, it's the same old story, isn't it? Her mother bashed her about, she batters Mandy. When Mandy grows up, she'll do the same to her children, probably. Unless we do something to break up the pattern. How about juvenile court proceedings for the care and protection of the child? Have you made up your mind?
No, not yet. A lot will depend on how she reacts to the idea of Mandy being put with a foster mother. If she can accept that, I'd like to hold off for a bit. If she makes a fight about it. Oh, she's outside now. I better go and see her.
You're not getting much time for your own affairs with this, are you? Margaret, Why not suggest you'll take her to see Mandy with the foster mother?
Oh, hello, Sheila. We know this Mrs. Jackson well. She's a very nice woman. It would only be a temporary measure. You mustn't forget that. And of course you can go and visit Mandy. You can feed her, you can even bath her if you like. Look, Sheila, I know this isn't going to be easy for you. But it would help me if you could tell me what you feel.
Nothing. I don't feel nothing. Why should I?
Because I've taken Mandy away from you, isn't that right? Your first baby, the children's department took away from you. The second, Eddie took away from you. And now the third, I've taken away from you.
That's right.
Sheila, it's not the same. With Mandy, it's different. You can get her back. And you will, if things work out. And I'm not stopping you seeing her, but I am protecting her. I have to do that. And perhaps I have to protect you, Sheila. I still don't quite understand what made you do it. Do you? Even then, she didn't cry. Maybe she won't anymore. Sometimes reality's too painful for crying. But she still can't talk about it. Today, she seemed a little more cheerful, though still not very talkative. Just for a moment, once, I thought she was going to smile. The baby was discharged from hospital today, and I think she took it quite well when I told her we'd put her with a foster mother. But she wasn't in the next time I called. A rejection, because I've put her baby into somebody else's care? Well, it's understandable. I must get her to come with me to Mrs. Jackson's and actually see the baby. Well, she took it much better and more calmly than I could ever have hoped. She appears to have accepted, for the time being at least, that this is the only realistic solution. The house isn't very far from the Sykes farm, so she can visit fairly easily. Today, she asked me if I'd go with her again, the next time.
And what did you say to that?
Yes, of course.
You'll encourage the dependency for a while.
I'll try. Well, she's got to depend on somebody, otherwise she'll never be able to cope with Mandy depending on her.
It's going to make great demands on you. Well, what about holidays? What about when she gets a job and starts wanting to go in the evenings or on Sunday afternoons? What about your own life?
Oh, didn't I tell you? My sister's moved in with me now. You know what she's like, Audrey. She's got enough social life for both of us.
Boyfriends?
Half a dozen. She's glad when I'm out. You know, it's a funny thing. She's been to bed with far more men than Sheila. And yet by middle-class standards, she's a nice, respectable girl. Because she can look after herself, I suppose.
How about you? Are you looking after yourself?
Oh, I've no ties at the moment. She's probably just as well.
Well, that's no qualification for our kind of life.
I thought that was the image.
It used to be. I'm going to the theatre tonight.
Are you? Good for you.
I'd have lived with him without marrying him. It was his idea, not mine. As soon as he found out I was pregnant, nothing else would do. But I didn't force him. I would have gone on as we was. It didn't matter to me.
Where would he go with a little boy? Where do you think?
No, I wouldn't want you to go after him.
But he's probably terribly unhappy too. We wouldn't try to talk him into anything like that. Something he's got to work out for himself. But at least it might help if he could talk to somebody. For all your sakes.
He once worked on a fairground. If ever he wanted regular money, he said... There must be hundreds of them.
We've got contacts all over the
Oh,
country.
you'd never find
Or we
him.
could try. What was Timmy's father like?
Rotten. Gambling, drinking, usual things, you know. I used to wait up for him to come home at night because I was lonely and I wanted him. And when he'd come in, he'd be drunk and looking for a row so he could knock me about. Then one day when he weren't there, I walked out with Timmy and that was that.
You love Timmy very much, don't you?
More than anyone ever.
till I met Eddie. That was the thing about him, you see, why I was so different. He took me and the kid straight off. I didn't even have to ask him. I mean, if he'd have said he didn't want him, I would have given him away like his sister to one of them children's departments. It's funny that. They took one off me, and if it meant keeping Eddie, they could have had the other one too. But he never did. That's why having Mandy, I thought having a daughter with Eddie, I thought it was going to be like starting again.
But Eddie loves Mandy, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he does. He was always on at me to look after her more. I suppose he'd get her as well now, wouldn't he? I'm frightened. It's right, you see, it's true. I'm not fit to have kids.
When Mandy was born, what was she like?
Horrible. Crying, wouldn't smile, wouldn't sleep, wouldn't eat. She never seemed to love me. Dirty, peeing all over the bed. Not like a proper baby. You know what I mean? Not like Timmy. Oh, and Eddie must. He was bound to get fed up with a kid like that. And I never had no time for Eddie. And Timmy was so good. And he loved Timmy. Oh, and I wanted it to be a boy for Eddie too. I mean, he must have wanted a boy of his own. It's only natural for a man, isn't it? And sometimes, when she went on crying, I could have killed her. I could have... Please. Please find my Eddie. I can't go on without my...